started with the turf walk pregame. I think we had great fan turnout. I mean, there was a really good atmosphere for our players, and I just want to, number one, thank our fans for that. Our student section, there's a 10,000 seat student section. It was filled up when you went out there and ran out there for the first half, and can't say enough about it. I mean, that's something we've talked about. I've gone to speak to student organizations and everything else. That is really part of the college football program. I mean, you can make a difference with your student section, with your fans, and they certainly did that for us today. So we're very thankful for that. I'm very pleased with our guys. Just the way they approached the whole game. We had a good workman's-like attitude in the hotel this morning in the walkthrough. They just had that look about them of being ready to go, and I think we came out and played that way. You know, we started fast in all three phases and just really executed the game plan well. And so that was my biggest thing. I know I answered a couple of your questions earlier in the week of what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a team that looked excited to play, had great enthusiasm, and just belief in one another. I think when you're playing next to a guy you really care about and it means something to you, you play a certain way, and I think that showed early on. And so there is obviously plenty of things to clean up, get corrected, and do much better. But at the end of the day, you know, it was a great win for us, a great way to start. I'm really excited for our guys and our players to see the look on their face in the locker room after the game. You know, that's what it's all about. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Start with Peter. TJ, I know you coached a lot of football games in your life, but first one as a full-time head coach at this level. I wonder what was your day different emotionally than any other games you've coached?
Yeah, it was different. It was, you know, it's good trying to stay wired into the whole football game. You know, usually as you're coordinating on one side of the ball, I mean, you don't even see half the game. When the offense is out there, you don't even know what's going on. I mean, I don't see any of the plays. I'm sitting there making corrections in the defense and everything else. So obviously now you're taking in everything in the time and the clock and all that. There were times when the defense was on the field that, you know, I mean, Coach Boo's calling the game, and I'm, you know, you get a little antsy because you're usually doing more when they're out on the field. But it was great. I enjoyed it. We had a great staff. I thought everyone communicated really well. That's a big thing. First game, you know, usually there's some of those substitution errors or lack of communication and all that, and that was really at a minimum. We had a couple mishaps late in the game when we were playing a lot of reserves. When you look at the first half, I thought it was a really clean game. We didn't have, you know, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember a procedural penalty or anything pre-snap, you know, controllable penalties that a lot of times in a first game you get. You know, we didn't have it. That's just, you know, a testament to our guys playing, our coaching staff getting them ready.
Coach, defensively, the difference today, first 5 possessions, you held them to 3 and out. They didn't cross midfield until late in the first half. What was the difference on D to start the game today?
Just the mentality of coming out and playing hard, playing fast. I think our guys, you know, have a sound scheme, and obviously you can do things to help you and put you in position to be successful. But if you get a bunch of guys playing hard, running the football, you're usually pretty good on defense. And you know, that's been our emphasis, and I think they came out and did that.
Coach, you played a lot of freshmen today, and they seem to be very, you got to be happy with their performance.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, get them in there. You know, let's go, and we'll continue to do that. Those guys are helped us today, and they're going to have to continue to help us throughout the season. And you know, I think you saw several of them do really well. You know, and it's all part of it. I mean, I think nowadays in college football, you know, you see freshmen playing. I don't know if as many as we're playing right now, but you see that, and it's part of the process. We felt really strongly about this recruiting class when we signed them all, and then, you know, now going through camp and out in the season. I mean, I think they've really lived up to it, and we're gonna continue to lean on those guys and put the pressure on them, and have them keep playing in spots when we need them.
Coach, your offensive line early in the game seemed to physically control the game. What did you see from them?
I thought they did a great job. You know, we rushed for, you know, what was it? 315 yards rushing. You know, obviously, I think our backs did a great job. I think the depth at running back really showed today that we've talked about. But I mean, you know, I don't care who's at running back. You don't do that without your line doing a great job up front. And you know, we play a tempo style of ball game, so for big guys that becomes difficult at times. You know, they're running down the field to get to the ball just as fast as anyone else and line up and go run the next play. And they did a great job of that. So. You know, always hats off to those guys. I mean, they're always the unsung heroes, but they're what I believe the strength of our team for sure.
Hey, Coach. Over here, Coach Brandon Simmons from Montgomery County. So congratulations on the win. What can you say about Jake Funk's performance today?
Jake showed you what he is. I mean, he's a tough guy. You know, I don't know if you noticed watching the game or not, but he was covering kickoffs for us. He was blocking guys on kickoff return, on punt pressure. He played in all special teams as well as played on offense. I don't think we didn't give any snaps on defense today, but he's ready to do that too when we need him. And I mean, that's just Jake, and I think he does such a great job of finishing runs and doing all the little things in a game that maybe isn't always noticed, picking up pressures, blitzes, and you know, that's just Jake. I mean, doesn't say a word, just whatever he asks him to do, he's going to do it and do it really well and be totally accountable to that.
Yeah, DJ, was there a specific reason why JC wasn't playing today, and do you see him being back next week?
Yeah, when he'll be back, I'm not sure yet. That's not a definite yet, and so there's an academic issue that we're working through with him, and we hope to have him back as soon as possible. And he's he was out there with us today, and you know, he's a great member of our team. We care about him a bunch, and so we're working to get that resolved as soon as we can. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have differences a little bit in their style, but I mean, I think Perry really puts the threat of the defense up, creating plays with his feet and his arm, as well as Tyrell does. And that's what those guys are. And obviously, maybe their strengths are a little different totally, but you know, yeah. I mean, Piggy went out there and showed us, you know, what he can do, and we knew that going into it. I think it was great. We were able to get him reps in the game, get him up to speed. I thought Max did good with his reps too, and. You know, but all in all, with Perry coming out there, and Perry completed his first 10 passes of the game. He made great decisions out there. He executed our offense really well. Like I said, we didn't have any miscues, mishaps, or anything. I mean, just the ball handling, the ball security, and just, again, the flow of the offense. I thought Perry did an unbelievable job. So I think he showed everyone why he was the guy we named the starter, you know, whatever it was, 10 days ago or 2 weeks ago.
DJ, you talked about seeing the look on the players' faces, you know, in a victorious locker room. Could you just kind of expand on that moment, expound on it, and just kind of revisit? I mean, it's been a long journey just to get to this point where you trust each other and you finally win a game.
Right. You look at football, add up the days of preparation, and you know how it goes in proportion with the amount of days you have for that payoff for games, right? You're guaranteed 12. You do well with them, you get 1 or 2 bonus. I don't know, the amount of days you work out, practice, and do everything else is drastically larger than that. And so we have worked these guys really, really hard. And I can't state that enough. This has been, you know, and they'll tell you, probably the most demanding, you know, portion of their life. And so when you go to the locker room afterwards and you see looks on their faces and see that, you know, like complete joy of going out and getting the win and getting the win together, and that's why you coach. There's nothing better. And so, you know, we have a saying, we say we celebrate all victories, man. Whether small victories in terms of a one-on-one victory in a practice, whether it's, you know, offense or defense got the better of the other team in a spring practice or whatever it might be, we celebrate all wins, all victories. And obviously today's the ultimate victory. You won one of those 12 opportunities are guaranteed. And so it was great, man. It was pure joy in there. We sang the fight song together, and that's what it's all about.
First of all, congratulations on the win. And Lorenzo Harrison, a guy who not seen on the depth chart to start the game, but ends up leading the team in rushing. To get him that many touches, did you expect to get him that many touches? Is that a product of playing Howard, or is that something you can see happening moving forward? And is it also a message to the rest of the team that, you know, your position on the depth chart doesn't necessarily matter going into the game?
I mean, the reason it wasn't on the depth chart is you know, Dustin got on me about too many slashes. We were slashing a bunch of guys, so you know, I wanted to slash him. Dustin cut him off there, but no, we're gonna play a bunch of running backs that we did in that game. We'll continue to do that, and he's you know, he's always been the plan for us playing wise. I think he showed you his ability. I mean, Lorenzo is a unique ball carrier because he can make you miss for sure. He can also run you over, and you know, so he's been great for us. I love his demeanor, his approach. I know he's a freshman. He doesn't have that freshman look about him at all. That's probably a hard thing to describe. You know, some freshmen have a blank stare look a little bit like early on, and you got to kind of work and get him through that. He doesn't have that. He's a very mature guy, and so yeah, we're going to continue using him. Obviously, I thought he played really well. He had some really great practices all throughout camp, and so we kind of knew we were getting there, but we'll keep getting the ball for sure.
DJ, over here. Going back to the running backs for a second. The sequence when you have Ty Johnson block a punt, and then you have your his backup pick it up and run it in Trey for a touchdown. Is that emblematic of just how much you want to squeeze out of all of these guys all over the field? Was that what you've been talking about, trying to use your top players everywhere?
Yeah, we will. We'll use our best players on all phases of special teams, and guys are going to play both offense and defense, whatever. It's what gets our best guys on the field gives the best chance to win. I mean, on that same play with the punt block, I don't know if you saw it, Will Likely was up rushing the punt. They obviously overloaded protection towards him, and that freed Ty up from the other side, and he did a great job. And obviously Trey scooped and scored. I think Jesse was on that play in there and doing a great job for us. Hayward was in on that. So I mean, those are starters. The starting tight end, starting buck, who were out there as well, and amongst others. So absolutely. I mean, we don't take that lightly at all. Special teams is critically important here. If you're a starter on special teams, you're a starter on this team.
DJ, you had mentioned before that today felt different as a head coach and just in general. So what specifically was different? And then when you're going to look back on this day as your first day as head coach here, what's going to be that moment that stands out in your mind?
The moment's easy. The moment is in the locker room afterwards with the guys after the win, singing the fight song. That's a great one for sure. And just again, the look on our faces. That's what you do it for. It's what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, the difference is just it's really a tangible difference. You have a different duty. As a coordinator, you have a duty. As a position coach, all the way down to a GA, a quality control coach, whatever. Everyone has a duty at a game. And so, my duties have changed during a game, and that's what made it different. But I thought it was good. I thought it went smooth. It was enjoyable. I think our staff did a great job. And we'll make all the minor changes and better ourselves. We always take a hard look at everything we do, and quality control wise, and make it better. But that was it. But it was good to be out there for sure.
Your demeanor seemed a little different than what we've seen on videos from practices and from your days as a coordinator. Is that something that was it something that you naturally said, okay, I'm the head coach, I can't be screaming and yelling all the time, or was it just the nature of the game itself?
Probably a little bit of both. I really think that we make it hard on our players throughout the week, and sometimes hard means like we get after them pretty good because you're trying to create an environment of diversity of a little bit of panic in practice to where they can be settled into the game and be able to go execute. And so, to me, the game is always that's their day to enjoy themselves. And obviously, there's times where something requires a reaction too. But for the most part, you want to let those guys go play, enjoy it, and let loose and not worry. You go crazy on the preparations. You want to make sure that they're locked in on the preparation, and then once the ball's kicked on game day, it's like, man, go play hard, go play fast, and don't worry about anything. And so, yeah, that's a little bit indicative of that. Obviously, everyone's going to look to me, my response to things, whether it's up or down, and so I think you always got to keep that in mind.
Thanks, Coach. We'll have select players here momentarily.
Thanks.
We hit Terminus!